Day 3 of the 2014 Australian Open in the record books here at the Australian Golf Club. 3 players sharing the lead at 5 under par. I'm joined by AussieGolfer.net analyst Michael Green. And Michael, what a day's golf we saw here today at the Australian Golf Club.
Thanks, Rod. It's great to be here. Yeah, it was drama-filled. There was all sorts of stuff going on. The leaderboard was all over the place there for most of the day, really. And at one point, no one could get really past 5 under, and that's what the leaders have finished on.
Yeah. Brett Rumford, Greg Chalmers, Jordan Spieth. Brett Rumford, Greg Chalmers, I think it's safe to say, two stalwart Australian players, well known, probably haven't performed on the biggest stage as Jordan Spieth, one on the USPGA Tour, but quality Australian players.
Yeah, I mean, of those three, I mean, you could argue that those two are the most experienced golfers there. Jordan Spieth is number 14 in the world, but Brett Rumford has got a majestic short game, an absolutely majestic short game, and it should stand him in good stead tomorrow. Greg Chalmers can get out of danger from any point, and you'd expect him to sort of battle away like he has for the last few days. Jordan Spieth has just been hanging around. I don't think he has his A game on yet, and he could perhaps turn it on tomorrow as well.
Yeah, Jordan, of course, from Texas. He said today, after the round, he does enjoy playing in the wind, and the wind is forecast to be strong again tomorrow. It was blustery all day today. You'd think that probably plays into the hands of Rumford. Lots of players will be missing greens, you'd expect, tomorrow, and he who chips it best is likely to be there at the end.
Yeah, there's lots of sort of swales, and it'll be interesting to see where the pin positions end up tomorrow. If they end up sort of tightly next to the edge of greens, balls will run off, and that might play into Rumford's hands a little bit, where he can chip up and get close to the hole and get up and down like he has been all week.
Indeed, although we must say it's not a 3-horse race, it's a bunched leaderboard. We've got, I think, 13 players within 5 shots of the lead. Just 1 shot behind those 3 players is, of course, Adam Scott, who doesn't feel yet like he's got out of second gear.
It doesn't. He had some fairly ordinary putts today, and even some of his approaches to greens were a little bit strange for the world number 3, but he is only in second gear, and I think he was only in second gear last week, and he almost won that tournament. It only takes a day. He could pull this thing off and win it by 2 or 3 strokes tomorrow.
Not in second gear by choice,
No, not at all.
Hasn't quite hit his straps, and in fact, he's been fighting extremely hard. He's joined at 4 under by Rod Pampling, a veteran of Australian golf, a 2-time winner on the USPGA Tour, so has plenty of game, but has been in the wilderness for the last year or 2.
Yeah, we haven't heard a lot about Pamps, really. He's struggled a little bit on the PGA Tour the last couple of years, but I believe I've heard the story that they found an old computer with a couple of videos of his old swing, sort of, I think, from about 10 years ago, and they had a look at that with his coach last night, early in the week, and suddenly he's got his swing back and playing great golf.
It's such a confidence game, isn't it? It only takes 2 or 3 swings for these guys, as we were saying, for Adam Scott, who could turn it all around tomorrow. Good to see Pampling there. Exciting young amateur Todd Sinnott. We all talk about what a big hitter he is, and he certainly does hit the ball a long way, but this is the second week in a row he's been at the pointy end of the leaderboard at the weekend of a big Australian tournament. It's pretty impressive stuff.
It is, and he's sort of young enough, perhaps, that he doesn't have any bad memories of losing tournaments, and this is another big tournament that he's in contention. He hits it a long way, as everyone does talk about. Maybe he's the guy that could go low. I mean, he's young enough, and to know that he can hit the ball a long way and he can go low. We've heard that from his junior days. So we'll see what happens.
He's at 2 under 3 behind the leaders. As I said, there are 13 players bunched within 5 shots of the lead. One of those players is not Rory McIlroy. He had one of his worst rounds, I think, that we can recall. 6 over par today, and including a bizarre incident on the 9th hole, which I think you saw.
Yes, he hit a wayward drive right, which really started his troubles. It landed in some new sort of fescue reeds grass area. Strangely, he decided to play that shot. He didn't have much of a backswing, played the shot, and the ball essentially disappeared and went under some matting or some hessian mat that these reeds were growing in. He had to take an unplayable. The unplayable landed in front of a tuft of grass. He had to play right. Next thing you know, it's triple bogey, and he's dropped well down the leaderboard. He followed up with a double bogey on 10, and you could maybe start to argue that even for the world number 1, he's too far back.
He is a long way back, but I guess the main point there, Michael, it's not just how far back he is in shots, it's the number of players. You can maybe overcome 2 or 3 players from a big deficit, but to try and get past 14 or 15, that's extremely
It's only going to take a couple of people ahead of him to have a good round, and maybe that he's too far back it's been such a bunch leaderboard for the whole tournament. It's great for the tournament, and it's going to be fascinating tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've all said they expect there's a low round in this golf course all week. It hasn't happened. You can hear the wind. It's been at the walls here of the media centre where we do our little reviews. It's more of that expected tomorrow. At this time tomorrow, sitting in that chair will be somebody who has won the Stonehaven Cup. It's going to be exciting stuff. We don't know who that'll be, but it's going to be fascinating to watch it unfold tomorrow here at the Australian Golf Club.